Hello everybody, today we're going to talk about Blackstone Fortress. And since people love my unboxing videos, here's a box. Empty. I know, I shouldn't tell the same joke twice. I've been trying to do this video for about 6 weeks, and every time I do the phone rings and I end up having to dash off on some emergency. In fact, I've just got back from an emergency, so excuse me. You know, we're going to talk about Blackstone Fortress not as a review. The reviews tell you the game, make it sound a lot more complicated than it actually is, and they don't really focus on the points that need to be talked about. Now, let's start with the maps. Right? It's all about generating maps and having a fight on the map. So basically it's mini 40k, simplistic 40k, that's what it is. If you were to follow the instructions to generate the maps using the various bits that came in the box, you'd be there for ages just generating each individual map, because you've got to find the piece, line up the piece, work out where it is in each box or in each map layout. It takes a long time. You can see your fellow players getting bored. So what I was doing, I was looking at the exploration card, looking at the map. I'd count how many spawn points there were, how many potential exits there were, and then I just build my own map. Right? Took a fraction of the time, made sure it had the same number of exits, the same number of spawn points, and away I went. Right? It was a lot quicker and a hell of a lot more interesting. So that's the first thing I did to change the game. Second, and I'm going to be doing this in the future, this is a character card for Yeman Shah Murad, whatever that is, I can't pronounce it. Basically it's the rogue trader from the expansion, it's Escalation. Now them cards are pretty straightforward. One side, and then you got the enlightened side. Usually there's only one difference in the enlightened side. You know, it might be the weapons, they might get more moves. In fact, there's two differences on this one, so it's not too bad. There's usually minor differences. This is the bad guy card for the Rogue Psyker. Now on the back, see if that will focus. Nope. Right, anyhow, that on the back is a list of instructions used for when you don't have a fifth player to be the AI. And I'll just give you some examples here. In fact, let me just find something with a laser gun. And you can see what I mean then. Something with a laser gun. Da da da. Cultist, not cultist. Spindle drone. Well, so they've got. Spindle drones do have something along those lines. Traitor guardsmen. Okay, they will do. Traitor guardsmen, they come with laser guns. Right? Now, on this tire card, you've got a D20. It gives you roll a D20 and find out which one of these is the actually performs. Right? Now remember, guardsmen come with ranged weapons. They're not combat specialists. You'll see the problem here, right? Now, in all of these, you've got across the top, no line of sight to the explorer, right? Adjacent to a visible explorer, armed with a laser gun, in cover from all visible explorers, range to the closest explorer is 2 or 3 hexes, any other situation. The only time this guy can use his laser gun is if he's in cover from all explorers. He can't use it at range at all unless he's in cover. Now whilst there are plenty of cover on these squares represented by these white lines, the chances of these guys being in cover are remote because this determines where they move to. For instance, just an example, right? Most of these are advanced fallback or onslaught. You'd think fallback would end up further away, but no. Right? Fall back literally means move towards the enemy, but don't stay out of line of sight. So you can literally move forwards instead of backwards. So it doesn't make any sense. And the rest of it is sneak, advance, charge, rush, fury, onslaught. No, shoot your weapon. You've got to be in cover before they would even do anything. Right? So anything with a gun is a waste of time. It's never going to use the gun, it's going to do a close combat role. And this is where the game falls flat, right here. These cards here are very badly thought out. And to be honest, it lets the game down big time. I think, to be honest, I've got a reputation for making AIs for computer games. I think I might be able to turn all these cards, all these orders, into a single chart. Just a simple hex chart on a piece of A4, and you get instructions on what they should be doing based on that chart instead of based on these. And if you've got a gun, you wouldn't be charging into melee in my book. You'd be shooting the gun from range as often as possible and trying to get out of melee if you're in melee. So this, not good. Let's put these away now. Anyway, it literally feels like an Age of Sigmar game with no rifles, no bows, nothing thrown in. So it's just axes, more axes and more axes. And if you get a character taking on the player will shoot at range, because he can. But when you're moving the AI will get to a certain point, and then you'll see the enemy, and the cards nearly always say charge. You're going to be a very unique situation before they'll actually use any kind of ranged weapon. And like I said, it lets the game down. Right, characters. Here's the thing. The sprues on these are very delicate. Here's one I'm still painting, right? I don't know if you can see that. No. But that there, very delicate plastic. At least one of the stronger ones. Just go into the escalation box. Right. This guy here looks fairly tough. He's the priest. But the gun at the side easily snapped off. And it's hard plastic as well, so it doesn't bend, it shatters. Right. This guy, quite strong. The group, quite strong. However, the elf, the tip of that gun snapped off, other parts have snapped off. I've had to really get that back together carefully. That little nodule in the middle of the gun looks like a lump. That's actually glue holding the tip of the gun on. So it snaps really easily, and there's that Rogue Trader, not this one, not the one you get in the default game, the one that you get in Escalation, wherever she is. But she's really delicate too. The feathers, the feathers snapped off already, her gun had snapped off just from painting. It really is fragile. Some of these models aren't designed to be used in a board game because they're just too fragile. And I really don't understand why GW made them that way. But they did. In a lot of cases, like spindle drones, a lot of people are gluing the back leg down. So it's on a tripod. I haven't, but I should have done. Policemen, these are quite solid characters, like 40k Space Marine here. Anyways, that's the other Rogue Trader. That gun there was literally open to be loaded by this servitor skull thing there, and it was only held on by a thin piece of plastic. The piece of plastic holding it on was thinner than the sprue's bit of flashing that was connecting it to the sprue. So when you cut it off, there's a danger of breaking it. I got mine off without breaking it, but it broke off when I was painting it. So yeah, very delicate. And the helmet, no, there's no feather on that helmet because it snapped off. I don't even know where it snapped off, it's on the floor somewhere. The guardsmen, they're pretty solid. Like normal guardsmen there. But there's an awful lot of models in here that really shouldn't have been designed this way for a board game. This was probably one of the worst ones. Basically, this guy here was held up on two thin chains. That's it, two thin chains. He's the rogue psyker, and them chains snap off. They do. They'd probably snap off when you put them in the box when you finish playing. So what I did is I glued it to the fade chain at the back, which is usually too short, but because these had already snapped off, I made it a bit smaller, and this one touched the ground then, so now this is held by 3 points. It's like a tripod, it's a lot stronger. So as you can see, the Blackstone Fortress it's a good game, lots of faults in it. AI's design absolutely atrocious, model design completely unsuitable for a board game. Nice models but completely unsuitable. They need to be a bit more robust if people are going to be playing these, you know, around a tabletop. But interesting to paint. I had a lot of fun painting them. I mean, this is the Archaeologist, what do they call them now? Tech Archaeologist from Mars. He's quite good. You could play him probably as an engine seer. Some people said, oh, you play him as a Tech Priest Dominus, but no, he's not Tech Priest Dominus really, he's more of an engine seer. There's quite a few characters in here though that you could use in 40k. This guy here, he's I've got pictures of these by the way, so don't worry. You'll be seeing them around the edges. But this guy here is the Chaos Lord with his thunder hammer. Yeah, Chaos Lord with a thunder hammer. He's quite a good character, and you can get him for 40k now. Right. Now his stat line comes straight out of the 40k book. You just go to Chaos Lord and give him a thunder hammer. What I did is I took some of my Warp Talon jump packs and I put one on the back. So now I've got Chaos Lord with a thunder hammer and a jump pack. Pretty cool stuff. It's a problem you've got, you see, in it when you're playing Chaos, is getting your commander from there to there alive. Now he's got a 12-inch move. So, You've got where are they? The new Chaos models. I believe these are the same as they're selling on the new sprues now. These remind me of Advanced Space Crusade type models. Very boring. A step backwards from the old Chaos Space Marines, I would say. People raving about the designs, how they love them, but that's it. There's no posability in them at all. You've got no bloody choice. Right? These are mono pose models, and they're basically GW are inviting other companies now to come in and just make better models as far as I'm concerned. And if I see better models, I'll be buying somebody else's models. I won't be buying boxes of these. Well, I might buy one box, but definitely won't be buying 2 boxes, because what's the point? They all look exactly the same. Servitors, pretty good servitor model. This guy here, Admech Servitor, you know, probably need to buy a whole box to get this one guy. But I wouldn't mind a box of servitors, that'd be useful. Quite a tough little model as well, it's not as brittle as some of the others. So yeah, you know, these would work with the Arch Magnuses and other stuff in the game, even Imperial Guard. Yes, I said Imperial Guard. Here he is, Psyker, Primaris Psyker. No, let's not get us confused with Space Marine Primaris. Imperial Guard had Primaris Psykers before Primaris were even a thing. This guy will be pretty good, Primaris Psyker. Rules for it are all here. In fact, you want to so what we've got? That the data sheets for Blackstone Fortress and data sheets for Blackstone Fortress, which is which? So we found out, shall we? Cultist 01. Rogue Trader, Primaris Areas. This guy, the Psyker, just give an example. He 6-inch move, WS free, CS free, strength free, toughness free, wounds 4, attacks free, leadership 8, save 5 plus. Has a laser pistol and 4 stave. And he's got abilities, it's for your own good. Says if Ardia, says Madeline, says he's slain as a result of the perils of the warp, also with 6 inches of a friendly commissaire, says she is executed before anything untoward can happen. It's a suicide pact, isn't it? Ignoring the rest. Right, she can manifest one power, says in each friendly psychic phase, and attempt to deny one. So it's not a particularly powerful psyker. She has a psychic argument has a warp charge of 8. She's manifested select a friendly Astra Militarum unit. She's within 12 inches of psych, add 1 to hit rolls. She's for the attacks made by the unit until the start of the next phase. And yes, the key words are Imperium, Astra Militarum, Astra Telepathica, Scholastica, whatever that is, and Psychana. Basically, Psyche Primus character. So yeah, you know, you can boost things. Doesn't say what other powers she would get, but I'm guessing Smite and that one. Wouldn't get much choice in the matter. I'll do him, actually, the one we just covered. The Tecna Archaeologist. This guy. This is for all those Imperium AdMech players. There's no Mars specific thing in here, so you can do it for any Forge World. He's armed with a Eradication Pistol, Servo, Arc, Claw. Only one of this model can be included in the army. His Eradication Pistol, for those that don't know, is 12 inch range, D3 pistol, strength 6, -1 AP, 1 damage. If the target is within 6 inches of the bearer, the weapon has a type 1, an AP -3 and D3 damage. And the Servo Claw is basically +1 strength melee weapon with a -1 AP and 1 damage, and does D3 damage to vehicles. He's got the old +5 invulnerable save. At the start of your shooting phase, select one enemy that is within 24, visible to Daedalus. Until the end of the phase, add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by friendly Adeptus Mechanicus units that target that unit whilst they are within 6 inches of Daedalus. Then you've got Archer Tech Device. Once per battle at the start of shooting phase, Daedalus can activate an ancient aerotech device. If he does, or Archotech device, if he does, select one of the following. Right, select one friendly Adeptus Mechanicus unit, or Adeptus Mechanicus unit, with D3 of Daedalus. It says one model in that unit regains D3 lost wounds. Select one enemy within 3 inches of Daedalus. Says that enemy suffers D3 mortal wounds. Not bad. So there is a reason to actually take them in your army. There's a couple of other things in here, but they're quite specific. Like the Rogue Trader, she's Imperium, and then Astra Cartographica, and you've got Gottfried de Montard. He's the Crusader. Oh, I love the Crusader. Let me see if I can find him. Really good model. Basically looks like a Knight Templar character. Right? Again, I'll show you a picture. Right? Really good character. Trouble is, he's like Imperium, Adeptus Ministratum, Astra Militarum. So you could field him with Imperial Guard, right? And it'd be fine, but very little else. But he's got a sword, right? That's all he's got. But he's 6 inch move, WS of 3 plus, BS of 4 plus, strength 3, toughness 3, wounds 4, attacks 4, leadership 7, 4 plus serve. And each unmodified hit of a 6, scores 2 hits instead of 1. Shield of Faith, Montag can attempt to deny 1 psychic power. It says in each enemy psychic phase. It says in the same manner as a psychic. However, if he does so, roll 2d6. It says only rolling a single d6. Instead of rolling 2d6, roll a single d6. Sorry, I misread it. The power, says, is resisted. Zealot. You can reroll failed hit rolls for Godfred de Monsbard, sorry, says in the turn in which he charged, said make heroic interventions always charged by the enemy unit. Oh, he has a 3+ invulnerable as well because of the shield. Pretty good that actually. If your army is battle forged, says this unit doesn't take up a slot in the detachment. Well, a detachment includes any Ministorum priests, so no slot. But he's an elite choice. Anyhow, I won't go through them all, but there's quite a few interesting things here that you could use in your 40k army. That's a point. Should we see where the robot fits? The Man of Iron. This guy. He, Imperium Robotica Imperialis. Considering he's an enemy of the Imperium, it's weird that he's got the Imperium listed, don't you think? Because he's only pretending to be a robot. It's actually a Man of Iron. One that caused the wars back on Earth before the Emperor. And the boss be banned in the Empire. Ooh. The two Ratlins somewhere in here, they're also in Astra Militarum. The priest isn't. In fact, most of them are. Imperial Guard basically get the best out of this. But you do get, there's an elf in here, there's a crew in here. My mate tells me that the crew, the main difference is he gets a pistol where other ones in his position don't. But he's not really especially a brilliant character. You might not want to bother with him in there. He's good in this game, but he's not a good character in 40k, if you get what I mean. But anyhow, there's some quite interesting characters here. And when you look at the Blackstone Fortress itself, and you just think of the whole game as a whole and the backstory of the book, which I'm reading currently, says, and you piece it all together, it paints a different side of the 40k universe, a different picture entirely, you know, kind of what it's like on the fringes. And all these characters from the fringes inhabit that dark grey space between heresy and loyalty or whatever. Says it's quite interesting. And you've got like the main characters work with aliens and heretics to get their thing in order to stop chaos from taking over, you know, the fortress and stuff like that. And it's like it goes against everything you know. But these are in very dark, dodgy places. Dark, dodgy places where any loyal person would never go. But some agents of the Imperium have to go. But the whole box is quite heavy Imperium. So there's no thing there. But there's a few characters in the box that are especially good. The Pious, Vaughn, the crew with a sniper rifle, the elf, can't remember her name, somewhere. Yeah, the Mechanicus guy, not really that stand out, he's pretty average, you know. Who did I play last? I've forgotten now. Character I played last was quite good. He's managed to hack his way through quite a bit. Anyway, you've got a priest or navigator. See? And quite a lot of other stuff. The models are well worth painting. But to be honest, if you're going to paint them, I recommend taking a block approach. Undercoat them, blocking the different colours you want to do it, right? And then add shades. You know, GW shades or army painter shades. Army painter shades are better, right, over the colours, and then maybe dry brush a bit over individual bits, and you'll get some pretty good job pretty easily. You know, it doesn't take an awful lot of work. Some paints work better than others. For instance, the P3 Scorn Red and GW's Corn Red go quite well together, especially with the Army Painter red shade. You get some pretty good results there. especially when you do the gold and then you put lots of either Averick Surf shade down the back or Army painted dark shade over it so it settles in all the grooves. Then you paint around it with the Scorn red so it lightens it up. Very good, very good. Scorn is quite bright, really vivid red. Getting hold of it in the UK is a bit difficult though. They don't seem to be able to keep up with the supply in the UK. So I'm constantly running out of P3 paints, and to be honest I'm probably going to replace them because I simply can't get hold of them. But I do like my P3 paints. I like my P3 paints a lot. I've got more. Right then, anyway, I might have a look at the making my own AI charts, as I said, in an A4 piece, across and down with orders that make more of allowance for ones with guns and ones with melee weapons, because right now it's Age of Sigma in 40k, that's what I'm feeling. There's only a few instances where they get to fire when they do have guns, and they require specific circumstances such as being in cover. So it's not really a shooter game where the enemy gets to shoot you, it's nearly always charge. So it's just mainly shooting at the Zulus charging at you kind of effect, and it spoils the game, to be honest. But I think that could be solved quite easily with a chart. Also, there's enough characters here to be able to work out any stat line you like to get any of your other favourite characters for 40k into the game. You know, this is the stat lines for 40k there. You can compare it to the dice rolls and you could do your own charts easily. It requires a little bit of imagination, but there's no reason why your favourite Smash captain couldn't be on the Blackstone Fortress 2 if you're willing to put in the work. It is a very moddable game in that respect. You can add more to it and you can do more to it. It just requires you to want to. And somebody's making a racket. Anyway, signing off now, and I'll see you in the next one.